Hey guys, so I wonder if StreamYard has an app because that would be a lot better than using my phone to record video and then uploading it later. Anyway, I kind of wanted to talk just on my way home about how glad I am that I don't live in the Republic of Gilead. So I just started watching The Handmaid's Tale, which I've read the book. I read the book maybe a couple of years ago, and then I just checked it out again from the library, along with the sequel, The Testaments, which I have not read. So I've been reading the tropes about The Handmaid's Tale, the book. The show. The tropes about the show. Just because that's what I always do when I start a new show. And I feel like in the Nightmare Fuel and Tearjerker page, they do overstate some things. It's a little bit overwrought. Like, we get it. It's dehumanizing. That's kind of the entire purpose, you know. And just because somebody is the same species as you doesn't necessarily mean you should care about them. Anyway. They're human beings. Whatever. Anyway. And they're saying, the most horrifying thing by far, some of the tropers think it's, not the body horror, not the, fact that you could be kidnapped off the street and interrogated, at electric prod point at any time. No, it's the breeding method. Yeah, that's the most horrifying thing. That's not, I disagree. I think the mutilation is the most horrifying thing. Second most horrifying thing. For me, the most horrifying thing is not being allowed to read or write. And, even the fact that some of the wives who helped come up with this system, like Serena, she wrote a book that, agreeing with the Gilead system before it was fully put into place, and now no other women can read it. She's not even allowed to read her own book. She's not allowed to revise it or anything. To me, that would be the worst thing, because I love to read, and I know I've kind of gone from, devouring novels in an hour or two to reading trope pages and memes and things like that for days on end. Loki has some interesting thoughts about it. He says, the show takes itself so seriously. I want to lighten the mood. And I'm like, there are some unintentionally hilarious things that happen in the show. Like the fact that Janine apparently gives birth to a 3-month-old baby that cries in stock noise. I mean, contrast this with the fact that June gave birth to a baby who is actually the proper size for a newborn. I look at Janine's baby and I was like, wow, no wonder she was in so much pain. I don't envy the women who are, I don't envy the handmaids. They don't get to use epidurals, and they're sitting there in a room with people chanting instructions at them. Oh my god, that would drive me nuts. I had a hard time with the nurse at Stanford doing that, and also, physically checking for dilation, that being my experience, not theirs. It drove me nuts. It was so invasive. And just being in a room full of people who are just, a room full of sheep who are bleating at you, it would be extremely irritating. And I know that's kind of like a minor thing, especially in comparison with the horrors of being a woman in Gilead, but, whatever. I love dystopian novels. And Loki also thinks that everything that's happening there is unrealistic because There's no way they would have let it get to that point, except in Iran in the late 70s, they did kind of let it get, not to exactly that point, but they used to have much more freedoms, much more rights, the women did. And then there was an Iranian revolution, but the bad kind. And then Afghanistan, so yes, these things have happened in the world before. Every single thing that was in the novel The Handmaid's Tale has happened to a degree somewhere in the world. It just didn't all happen all at once in the United States. And, thankfully we have a very vocal feminist interest group here. Like, yes, sometimes I get a little bit annoyed with them. Sometimes I think they go too far and over-dramatize things. But at least they would never let it get quite to that point. Loki says that if even a hint of any of this started happening, like, we would have been out of the country long before then. I'm like, well, maybe. Because unfortunately, there are a couple of things in our particular situation which might have made it difficult for us to vamoose, but yeah, we both took exception to, in the series, Luke saying, don't worry, I'll take care of you after June loses access to her money. Like, we agreed with Moira on that to a degree. I said, look, if I lose access to my money and you're still able to access it, or our son is still able to access it, I expect you to withdraw all of it and give it to me in cash, or at least give it to me in traveler's checks or something like that, depending on what there is, if that ever happened. And Loki's like, yeah, that's what I would do, because I manage the household finances, because I am more comfortable with math than he is. Okay, and like, we've agreed on this a long time ago, and the way that he provides for our family is what works best for us right now. Whereas in the future, things will be a little bit different, because our son will be in daycare and or school, and I won't have, so much of an issue with the idea of scaling back at work or staying home. Anyway, and it's not like I don't have issues on, like, moral feminist grounds or anything like that. It's more, A, I still do like my job to an extent, and B, childcare is not my thing. Okay, anyway, so I just wanted to chat a little bit about Handmaid's Tale. I'm gonna let you all go. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I will be streaming possibly at some point. Cheers.